Let's head over to the bench and we'll get that radio prepped and ready to get into the car. It's time to get the radio mounted into the newly cleaned dash kit. This is a Metro 5819. It's actually a pretty nice dash kit for these, the way it goes together. I think it looks really nice in the dash. When doing a Kenwood radio, or any radio for that matter, most of the time the radio comes with some screws. Make sure you choose to use those screws. In this case, they use a fine thread screw, and if you use a coarse thread screw, all you're going to do is cross thread the unit. When using a short chassis radio, it's kind of a little bit difficult sometimes to put it in because you don't have those 2 screw points to level out the radio. It is a little bit more interesting trying to figure out which upper and lower screw points to use. When you're tightening up your screws, get one side on and then look at the top and bottom as you're tightening up the other side. Make sure you keep it straight in the dash kit. This wasn't straight in the dash at all when we took it out. We want to make sure we keep it straight in the dash kit. And it might take a couple tries. Alright, and after a little bit of work, have it in there nice and straight across the top here, which is what matters. Now you'll notice it has these little winglets hanging off the back because it's a short chassis. It's up to you. I like to remove them. Some people use them to attach their harnesses to. There's a lot of uses for them. Me, I like them gone. And just like that, they're all trimmed up and ready to go. Now the other thing too is that these top pieces here were hitting when this was in, so I'm gonna sand these. You can't sand them off because they are part of the kit, but I could sand them a little bit shorter so they don't get in the way. And for the sanding, I just used this 3-inch sanding disc on my Milwaukee sander. And as you can see, it took that down. It's out of the way now. Some of this goes in, it won't get caught up on the dash and cause it to bow any. The radio is all set. This is all we had to do for this. Pretty nice. For integration, we're going to be using the RR. For this, you need the RF01 or the HRF01. One is harness ready. If you can get the harness ready version of it, that's the way to go because then you don't have to wire up the harness. It'll just plug in. We don't have that one currently in stock. We still have some of these left, so we're going to be doing it the old-fashioned way. Oh my gosh. Which is wire-to-wire wiring this thing up. The color codes are going to match up. If it has a color here, it's going to have a color on this to go along with it. If you're one of those people that likes to know what these colors mean, I will tell you real quick. There's 3 power wires. One is red, which is going to be key or ignition. It's the wire that gets 12 volts when the car is on and running, or depending on the car, maybe in the back position or in the accessory position. Yellow is constant 12 volts. This is your memory wire. Black is ground. Onto your secondary wires, you have an orange-white, which is illumination. This is what causes the radio to dim when the lights turn on. That is on most cars a data wire. I mean, it's going to come from this harness here. Very rarely are they still behind the dash. It has a blue and a blue with a white stripe. The blue is for an amplified antenna turn on, and the blue with the white stripe is to turn on our external amplifiers. There's another blue wire that is blue with a yellow stripe, not to be confused with the blue with the white stripe. They both have these flags on there. The blue with the yellow stripe is for if you're doing some form of external steering wheel controls. With the RR, you do not use that because it's done through data into the back of the radio. Purple with white, this long one here, is going to be your reverse trigger. This sees 12 volts when the car is in reverse and activates a backup camera if it has one. Light green is your emergency brake wire. This needs to see a ground when the emergency brake is applied, and that will allow you to get in access into some of the hidden features in the radio. On this, there's 2 dark green wires with stripes that say cam plus, cam negative. This is for a specific camera that Kenwood makes. This allows you to control the view angles on that specific camera. If you're not using it, these wires are not going to be used. They will not be on the RR harness. And then you have your 8 speaker wires divided into pairs, a solid color and a stripe color. The solid color is positive, the stripe color is negative. White is driver's front, gray is passenger front, green is driver's rear, and purple is passenger rear. These wires we will not be using because we're not going to be using deck power at all, so we'll be capping these off. Now in the RR, a couple things that you should know. One, it comes with the new brain. This is it here. This is what the RR module looks like. And the newer versions of the RR come with just 1 bag of goodies. If you've done one in the past, you may have 2 bags. And there is 4 pieces inside of that. One is the USB flasher. So you do need to go to their website, idatalink.com or maestro.com, and download the software. And that is what's going to tell this this module here, which is universal, that it's going in this F-150. It's also going to give you the ability to print or have on your screen all the wiring instructions. They're all there. It'll allow you to program your steering wheel controls and all that as well. It's all done through the software. It's super simple, super sexy. It's one of my favorites. They give you the analog steering wheel control wire, which we'll not be using, as we said, and it gives you two other harnesses. One is a data to data, has a 4-pin connector on each end. This is data to data that is going to hook up to this and talk to the radio. And there's a secondary cable that has a 3-pin with an aux style end on it. This is done for a lot of secondary features that are built into the radios. This in the instructions is going to be the cable that is going to be not necessarily mandatory. So when you're looking at the instructions, it's going to have a picture of a radio and a picture of the brain. If you see 2 wires, these are the 2 wires they're talking about. If you see 1 wire, the data wire is all they're talking about. And here's a screenshot of what our instructions look like. Now inside of this particular harness comes with all our connections. At the beginning of this video we said this was a data radio, and the reason we figured that out was because there was no accessory in the car, and that's in this plug here. And as you can see, there is no red wire anywhere in this. It's going to be using 2 data wires to turn it on and off. And this is designed to just plug in to our RR, and then on the end here and on this end here it has all the wires that we need to hook up to this. It has our 8 speaker wires. In this case you see RCAs on there. If this was an amplified system, we'd leave these on and plug them in. If it's not an amplified system, you simply just cut these off and they go off to the speakers. Over here, these shorter wires are going to be all our connections for the others. We have a red, a yellow, and a black for our power wires. We have an orange, a purple, white, and a blue with a white stripe to match up with these. And then it has a couple of odd ones, and one that I forgot to mention, which is this pink wire here. This is VSS. This is for the navigation while connected over wireless CarPlay or Android Auto. It's a speed sense wire. It does have a connection for it here, this white one, but then it has a yellow with a black stripe. This is for foot brake. If you were doing an Alpine, some of the older Alpines require a foot brake. And then it has a brown wire. Sometimes brown wire is what we call cellular phone mute. Very rarely do we still have a function for this, but they still put it in a lot of the harnesses. And then also on this, way over here, it has this pink with a red stripe. This is for steering wheel controls. On some of the Fords, you do have to go grab a wire in the dash at the sync module for controlling the phone, and that'll be something that they do show you in the instructions that we took a look at. If it has a backup camera, it'll come with the corresponding backup camera harnesses, and in some cases you do need to connect into the OBD2. The reason why it is designed to be plugged in is in case any service does need to be done to the car, it can be removed. That service can be done and it won't be blamed on this brain being in the car. The task now is to get this all put together. Harness is done and all set and ready. I like to make this Y-shaped harness here. Why? Because I do. Module's located here. All my ends here go off to the Kenwood radio. 2 iData wires plug into the back of the radio. Coming over to this side, the 2 harnesses that are going to plug into the vehicle. I like to put a pigtail off to the side that has a remote turn on, power, accessory, and ground. The speaker wires for the mid bass are located right here because we already took care of the rear speakers. That's a complete harness, all set and ready to get into the car.